Is our top story this morning as South Africa is bracing for the SA Federation of Trade Unions Stay Away today with marches and protests scheduled across the country. The Labour Federation is opposing the proposed national minimum wage of 20 Rand per hour or 3,500 Rand a month, saying this is not enough for people to survive on. This will be SAFTU's first big show of force, but COSATU unions have made it clear they'll not be joining the strike, accusing the new federation of political opportunism. One of the country's biggest unions, Numsa, will be taking part.
This government, if it was serious, it will impose that 12,500. And secondly, it will actually force all South African companies to disclose their financials, how much money are they generating per annum, sector by sector, company by company, the economic conditions are tough. They are tough to all of us. They are tough to the working class. But open up the books. Let's see how much are they generating as profit. At the back of that, we can then start a genuine debate about what is a fair national minimum wage.
All right, and for the latest on the stay away in Johannesburg, let us now cross live to our reporter, Chriselda Lewis, who is in Johannesburg CBD this morning. Chris, a very, very good morning to you. Talk to us about what is expected to happen today.
Well, Palisa, as the South African Federation of Trade Unions, SAFTU, plans to bring the country to a standstill here in Johannesburg at the Newtown Park precinct is where thousands of workers will begin to gather at 9 o'clock this morning to begin their action against the protests, the proposed 20 Rand wage. And as you pointed out there, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, Numsa, is also part of this action. So they will begin gathering here at 9 o'clock this morning, and they will march to several places as well, where we're expecting quite a number of industries to be shut down throughout the country, including factories as well. So this morning, quite a number of roads will also be closed in and around the areas that will be affected by the march itself. As you also pointed out in your intro there as well, Palisa, is that COSATU is not part of the strike action. You heard from the General Secretary of COSATU, Njali, yesterday in the Eastern Cape, saying that they're happy with the process that is being followed for this proposed minimum wage for South Africa, and they'll wait for that process itself to conclude, with the call, of course, by these striking unions for political parties to also participate or show support for this action. We also heard from the economic freedom fighters, who are saying that they're in support of this march, and basically this 20 Rand wage proposed is an insult to the workers, the United Democratic Movement as well, also saying that the proposed changes to the Labour Relations Act, as well as the introduction of a minimum wage bill, should be referred back to NADLAC for reconsideration. So with all of that taking place, we're expecting quite a number of disruptions. And recall, of course, that throughout the past 7 days as well, now into the 8th day, we've also had the bus strike that has been underway. So that is is expected to continue to be affected here this morning. But just to get some information on the road closures and what would be happening, of course, as Johannesburgers wake up this morning that want to know which areas to avoid. So we brought in Edna Mamunyane, who's with the Johannesburg Metro Police Department. Ma'am Edna, thank you very much for your time. As Johannesburgers wake up this morning, they want to know which areas will be affected and which ones to avoid.
A very good morning to you, Chriselda, and to our viewers. Yes, today we would like just to set the record straight. The Johannesburg Metro Police did give SAFTU permission to march today. They had requested to march from Mary Fitzgerald, but we crossed over to Newtown Park precinct, where they will gather, because there is a function that's going to happen on Friday. So people are preparing on Mary Fitzgerald. They want to gather from 9 o'clock, anticipating to be the first stop is the Premier's office. We're going to obviously use Bree, which is known as Lillian Goy now, then get into Simmons, and then the office of the Premier is at Simmons. From Simmons, they will then proceed along Simmons and go to Chamber of Mines, where they're going to deliver another memorandum. From Chamber of Mines, they want to go to the Department of Health. Our former Sour Street, that's where it's going to be affected as well. We anticipating traffic at that time to be gridlocked downtown. So if you really don't need to come and be here, please just try and avoid it. They will go up Pritchard. Yes. From the Sour Street, we'll go up Pritchard, and then we will use Risick Street, go to Braamfontein, Department of Labour. It's our last stop, where we expecting that Braamfontein as well will be gridlocked with traffic around that time. To all our viewers that you haven't left home, please know that if you anticipated that you leave home around 8 o'clock, 8:30, please leave now so that you can be able to go past before some of these road closures. We will divert traffic. Officers, as you can see, you are here out with me. They have started parading, and SAPS, Metro Police, the Gauteng Traffic Police, as well as other securities are in place to try and make sure that we follow the marches.
Ma'am Edna, obviously, working together perhaps with the South African Police Service, you're also going to try and ensure that law and order is maintained and that the marches themselves move in an orderly fashion from here to the respective destinations to hand over those memoranda of demands.
Yes, Chris, we do expect, we did have a commitment from the union that everything is going to be peaceful. We expecting the people that are coming here to be peaceful because they're coming here for a purpose of fighting for a minimum wage. So let's hope that they do that in an orderly manner. But we will be here. We are going to be here. We have already started before they even arrive to make sure that we are in place when they come here. We will be with the march all the way right up until the end, until they disperse, because they'll have to come back and disperse here, and they will obviously use the Corte, come down Nelson Mandela Bridge, and then come back to Newtown Precinct Park.
All right, Ma'am Edna, you said they were expecting about 7,000.
They wrote on when they came to apply 7,500 people that they're anticipating to have today.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Ma'am Edna Mamunyane, waking up very early with us there to give Johannesburgers an idea of which areas to avoid. And of course, all of this, the thousands of workers that are expected to start gathering here at the Newtown Park precinct from 9 o'clock this morning, marching against that proposed 20 Rand per hour wage, saying that they're going to take to the streets and basically call for government to reconsider, and that as they've been saying over the past couple of weeks in preparation to the strike action, that the proposals that are on the table at the moment are an insult to workers, and that's certainly the sentiment that we're expecting to hear, not only here in Johannesburg, but at several of the other marches that are planned throughout the country.
All right, Chriselda, thank you so much for that update. Our reporter, Chriselda Lewis, live from Johannesburg CBD, will be touching base with her a little later on here on Morning Live for the latest. But you do know now which road closures to be on the lookout for.